Good afternoon to you all. DRBMiller here. How's everybody doing? Very good to see you coming here to our session of free games with gold. And as you know, we do that every single weekend, introducing the best games that are given to us by Xbox as freebies. This week is no exception. But I have to apologise first of all for my absence during the last few days from Twitch. As you know, I have regular daily broadcasts, sometimes very short, but at other times fairly lengthy, and I've been taken up by other responsibilities which are indeed tied into this dreadful pandemic that's happening out there in our community and globally. So I've been very, very busy, and therefore there was no time for any form of online activity, and I apologise for that because people might have been expecting a bit more of Guardian games and all of the other activities, but we'll carry on as usual next week. We'll slot in at least an hour if you know, there isn't any other way, and we'll carry on. I can also tell you that I have quite an exciting selection of PvP stroke Battle Royale type of program, and we'll be looking at the hottest, the best Battle Royale games are there at the moment. And as you know, there are Warzone of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, we have Apex, we have PUBG, and we also have Bleeding Edge that's been introduced by Xbox Game Pass recently, and you know, we'll have a look at all of those. And I think we're likely to focus on the tactical shooters, so we'll be looking primarily at PUBG and Warzone as being the very best, and maybe a bit of Apex thrown in between. So that is to follow within the following week, or perhaps even 2 weeks. We might stretch it because, as you know, the Warzone was giving us some extra content, so it may take a while for me to kind of gel and learn all about it. We've had a lot of good time last week with Guardian games. I played it for about 10 days, and it's been enjoyable, although I have to say, in terms of the rewards, somewhat slim. Bear with me, it's a bit loud in here. Somewhat slim, and I've not been quite happy with the rewards given for all the activity that was given, but you know, we are progressing there as well. Destiny 2 is a massive open world game that so many things to do, and this is just one of those new additions and new introductions. There are many quests to do and many other things, but you know, what's worthy of note is that our community here on the channel for Destiny has been extremely quiet compared to what we had last year, and I don't know what the reason for that is, quite frankly. I think many people might have just been fed up with Destiny 2 and departed, because previously we had lots of people popping in saying hello. We also have not streamed Destiny 1 at all, and that might be the other reason. So I might, not immediately, but in the near future, I'll give you a bit of Destiny 1 as well. And I want to play it on my Xbox One in addition to what I have on my PlayStation, but there's been a problem with its installation for some reason. The latest update is causing some problems with backward compatibility, and I think that is certainly the reason that I'm having a bit of a problem, and therefore I need to be certainly waiting for that to be resolved before I crack on with Destiny on my Microsoft console. And that's Destiny 1, of course, but obviously we can carry on with PlayStation as usual, and we'll probably attract some of our friends and fans who are indeed still very much indebted and connected to that wonderful open world space shooter. Right, so first of all, let me tell you that today's stream is going to be very busy. It's going to be packed with 3 separate games. You would have seen that on the chat. We are going to be starting with a great RPG, adventure game I should say, more than anything else. Mafia 3, and Mafia is a kind of long-time franchise with lots of different followers and fans within that community. I played Mafia 1 a little while back. As you remember, it's been released on 360, and then I progressed to you know, the second, the sequel, and this one as well. I've not actually played it in full, but I tried it on PlayStation, as we have it on both PlayStation Now, and I have it as a freebie given by the Sony, part of PlayStation Plus subscriptions. We get several free games per month, and it is a very immersive, very beautifully researched period piece going back to the Vietnam War, the late 60s, early 70s, and I think people who like GTA 5 or like sort of driving games and the elements of Miami or, you know, Los Angeles of that era will find it very rewarding. So we'll have probably about an hour spent on every game, or maybe a bit more, depending on the timing and the schedule, depending on how the game actually progresses. And after that, we'll have a look at the game that I really wanted to play for probably more than a year, and it is a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance. So all of you who are fans of Elder Scrolls and Sword and Blade and all the other types of ancient world type of games, Bless Unleashed is here as well amongst the recent ones. You will definitely recall that the game was released a little while back, about 18 months ago I think, and was released on PC first and then it was imported to consoles. So I really want to play it on PC, but there were some issues at the time and didn't manage to get to it, and it's been now accessible through Xbox Game Pass on Xbox, so for me as a subscriber I get it for free. Basically it is a wonderful game. It's a bit like an adult approach to Elder Scrolls, because you will have our character getting involved in all kinds of intimate encounters. You will have some of the content which is certainly likely to be received as very adult, and there are sort of twists and turns in there, but it's a very immersive game, and I think for the fans of Elder Scrolls, possibly of those who loved the Witcher franchise as well, it is going to provide us with a lot of entertainment. So the benefit of doing Mafia and also Deliverance, the Kingdom Come Deliverance, is that these games are available on Xbox Game Pass, which means we can actually play them and stream them at any given moment in time, and I'm definitely kind of looking forward to that. So if people are keen, send me an email or tweet indicating you want to see more of it, and obviously I'll bring it back. You'll appreciate that the streams have got to be quite tailored to the schedule and the program in order to suffice the community. So I play some games, well, certainly during the last 6 months I played lots of games outside of my broadcasting hour, and that's been really very enjoyable and very good, and I really sort of thoroughly loved it, because when you play by yourself or outside of the broadcast you have a different focus, and you actually enjoy and immerse in games somewhat differently. Having a community on board and being on live on air does bear a certain responsibility, and you are paying attention to what comes in from the community, and you overall providing running commentary on the activity, which sometimes can be, I have to say, very, very draining, particularly in the longer run. Many streamers experience that to be of concern. It's just a degree of attention that you require. It's very similar, well in my case, because obviously I don't have my cam on, it's very similar to what radio presenters have if they're running lengthy 5-6 hour chat shows, because you're always attentive to what comes in, and particularly today with Twitter and Facebook and all other social networking forums, we will have to be always up to scratch, on our toes, responsive. We've got to be paying attention to all that comes in, and people really pay a lot of attention to the way we respond to their requests, questions and inquiries, and if you're not always up to scratch, then you face a bit of a backlash on Twitter or Facebook or elsewhere, and so it's definitely worth keeping in mind that playing games by yourself and doing them in a live forum is just completely different. It's two different ball games, and I love it both. I think it depends on the game as well. I think if you're looking at battle royale or competitive type of style gaming with lots of tactical approaches with teamwork, that is a lot more enjoyable and definitely very, very immersive in a live broadcast compared to when you do it all by yourself. I think for the games like linear storytelling adventure games, and Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human that I played recently, I think maybe Mafia is here as well to a degree, maybe Yakuza, although they have fighting sequences. These are the games that you can really play by yourself and kind of fully immerse. They're equally great if you have a community on board that provides in comments, although I have to say, if you're doing a linear storytelling for the first time in live broadcast, it will be disconcerting because you'll miss out on certain sequences and certain details as you carry on, and it's different ways through which gaming can be approached. We know full well that gaming is a very major new form of modern art, and it will get that degree of recognition in due course. I talk frequently about the game industry comparisons with the old golden age Hollywood, because I think we've actually reached that peak presently on the global scale with what's happening here in this industry. And there are lots of similarities, because you'll recall that the films were not seen for quite some time in the Western world as something worthy of significance. That's more significant and different as far as the Eastern Europe was concerned. Soviet Union was the first country, or the entity that recognized the importance of being able to use films in order to spread messages that will have some sort of doctrine, some sort of ideology behind it, and that basically was then developed, and therefore there are archives and institutes and entities producing films pay attention to everything about what was going into a particular product, and they were all keeping them fully saved and stocked in good storage spaces. There was immediately an organization called Cinematheque, or the Film Archive, created, and all of the films created in their country at the time were nicely looked after. This was not the case in the West, and particularly in the US, where Hollywood studios were regarding films as commodities, and as soon as the film was out of circulation, they couldn't see at the time any form of capacity for further revenue generation. They would discard them, or make sure that they were not really occupying unnecessary space in the storages as the new films were coming in. You'll recall that the studios were producing between 300 and 500 films a year during the heyday, and that indeed was requiring a lot of space for prints and for everything else. But I think the similar sort of approach is present here within the video gaming industry, where I feel still there isn't enough credibility and recognition given to very, very large teams of graphic design artists who work on various projects. If you go to Destiny 2 or The Division or Far Cry or any of these games, the painstaking effort to which the worlds were recreated is incredible, and it just actually, I don't think can be compared to anything else in previous history, maybe to the Renaissance art or Michelangelo's paintings, murals and fresks, and where you would pay so much time working on a detail. So when you looked at, for instance, the pictures that are in some chapels on the ceiling, they look incredible. They're so massive and so vast and colourful, and there's such attention given to the detail, a bit like with Pre-Raphaelites. This is what the graphic design does to video gaming. The attention to detail in some of the games is incredible. You actually see more within the game to what you'd see in real life, and that requires definitely recognition, requires some degree of support from the wider community, and we need institutions that will cater for that as well. And you've seen in recent years that some games were reworked and remastered, and the recent trend is to be completely redoing them. So you'll have the basic concept of the game that was done 20 years ago, and you'll redo it, like Resident Evil, for instance. We're already on the third remake presently, and they look and feel absolutely astonishing. And it is recognized that the quality of the game, the quality of the concept has been there from the beginning. It required a novel approach, and that is presently giving a lot of food for thought and a lot of entertainment to anyone who joined that particular Jill Valentine stroke Resident Evil world. And I think that is basically the future. So to cut long story short, I love adventure games, I love RPGs, and we are having this weekend almost completely dedicated to adventure stroke RPG games. It's really, really good, because the previous weekends were, I guess, somewhat diverse. We've had quite a selection of fighting games, and then we've had some tactical and strategy, like last week with XCOM 2, and open world battle royale, you name it. So there's been quite a variety. I just want to draw your attention to freebies. Xbox provide us with freebies every single weekend. It's called Games with Gold. So if you are a subscriber to the Ultimate or to the online service, which is called Gold, you will get them for free. You can play them most frequently for 3 days. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it's just the weekend. Depending on the publisher, some of the games can also be extended for a couple of weeks. We've had Starlink recently, and I think Xbox XCOM 2 was also extended for a few days, because I didn't play it, but I've seen it was playable until Wednesday. And this is a wonderful opportunity to support Xbox community as well as the developers, because really they're giving you a full game to try for free, and if you like the game you can come back to it and buy it, or wait for the price to drop and purchase it. But quite frankly, as a kind of a long-time gamer, person who's played the games since the beginning of the 90s, I can certainly tell you my aversion certainly during the first decade, first 15 years, was towards the consistent ongoing purchase of the new games, because we've had no means of checking out what the games were like. With the introduction of YouTube, we were able to see clips, obviously, that people would put on the internet, and then as things progressed, we've had Twitch and now Mixer and all other forums, and that's provided us with an insight on what the game looks like, what it feels like once you come to the to that world, and that makes it really thoroughly consistent and enjoyable with what we as gamers want, because what we don't want is to spend 50 or 100 pounds on a game that turns out to be a complete fluke, and that puts us off from any future purchases. In this instance, you're collecting and selecting the very best. An example, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's an expensive game, it costs about £100 if you buy the Ultimate. But if you played it a few weeks ago together with me here, you would have seen how beautiful, brilliant, incredible, vast, phenomenally well designed and immersive the game is. Therefore, you would love it on a weekend, and it's so big, I only finished maybe 0.5% of the game to the weekend, although I played it quite a bit. And you will be driven to purchase, and you will justify that £100 like a really good investment. You really want it, and you really pay it, and you will really get the best possible quality from all that comes together with the Ultimate. Seasonal content, subscription to anything else that comes in new for free, etc, etc. So, it is a relatively new concept, and all the big AAA publishers, drug developers are embracing it, and it's giving us this opportunity, so why not embrace it? Don't ignore it, enjoy it, because they will base the promotional scheme and the types of games selected entirely on your interest. So the reason I do this every weekend is to bring to everyone's attention that these games are actually up and about, and they can be instantly played, and they can be instantly enjoyed. And I had some tweets saying, well, you are driving us to be spending all the money. Right? And I said, well, why and how? Well, you want us to subscribe to PS Now, to Xbox Ultimate, you want us to pay some for some game, you want us to pay. It's not true at all. It's not the way I see the things progressing. Because the way I see it is, if you have the opportunity to try 1,000 games on a subscription price per month, right? So for me, it's about £20, two services combined on Xbox and PlayStation. Provides me the vast opportunity to explore, to find out about all these games in there. Amongst them, there will be games that I really want to play, and they're actually, it's quite a large number, particularly on Xbox Game Pass. There are many more blockbusters compared to PlayStation. And then you can try them. You could say for nothing, because it is delivered on a subscription price, in the same as you watch films on Netflix or on Amazon Prime. If you like the game, if you love it, if you really want to replay it several times, and you will know that with Destiny and the games of that sort, you definitely will want to have it in due course if you're enjoying it. Then you purchase it. In terms of buy the Ultimate straight away, you can buy the basics, and then build everything accordingly, and that will work out fine. Most importantly, you will feel more satisfied because you will know exactly what you're buying, because you tried it already. Because remember, the way the games are produced today, it's all about shelf life. It's not about one-off like the way it was, like in the old days. This is all about being able to replay it. Therefore, we have seasonal content, we have all those things introduced in recent years. So, you will know that by purchasing and investing, you're buying the product that you really want to have, and that this product is going to provide you with a lot of entertainment, with a lot of enjoyment, and it will justify the expense. That means you will be perhaps driven to another purchase at a later stage. It's a bit like going on holiday. If you've been to a place and you've been to a hotel or bed and breakfast and you enjoyed it and you loved it, you'll always go back there because it's a good investment. If you're doing an online booking, you'll go to a place you've never been to. It looks phenomenal online. You get there, it's just nothing like that. It's a major disappointment. You spent your money, you already are sour grapes right from the word go, but you get there and just spoils your holiday. You get it? That's the idea. And I think the idea is definitely working in our favor. I've been enjoying it from the beginning. I've been a subscriber for quite a while, and I can't say anything wrong about it. Maybe with PlayStation, not all the games are standardized to the streaming usage, and they will be of varied quality if you're just doing the streams rather than downloading, playing off your hard drive. But that's nothing compared to when you're just literally skimming through games to find out what they like, what sort of flavor they provide you with. So what we are doing today is we'll start with Mafia 3, and then we'll carry on with Kingdom Come Deliverance, and then we'll top it up with Yakuza 0. All three games are very interesting, they provide us with vast content, and they're very significantly different. I guess Yakuza and Mafia 3, you could say, are both ingrained within the gangster world, one in Japan, the other in US, but they're being delivered in a very, very sort of different fashion, and both games are really properly researched, and they look beautiful on the visual front. With Kingdom Come Deliverance, as I said, it's an adult twist to the Witcher stroke Elder Scrolls concept, and really I can't wait to enjoy it all. So without further ado, sign in and we'll continue. This is me, and we'll carry on. We have a lengthy introduction, which I didn't want you to miss, because many people would have gone through it and then, cracked on with the gameplay. But when you are introducing a game, it's very important that you start from the very beginning. And what's funny is I never get okay. Let's see whether there we are. Beautiful images. Look at this. I'll take some screenshots. I love the graphic design in here, it is so well researched. Mind you, I loved it I loved it in LA Noire, All the games that are beautifully researched, they provide you with this wonderful environment. And sometimes it's sort of recreated, but like for instance in this instance, what you see in that picture in there, it looks alive, and so evidently everybody will enjoy it. There we are. See, 13, the developer, tells you all about So as you could see, this is a very, very interesting story of a young man growing up in the south of the US, experiencing all sorts of social adjustments and difficulties, and he ended up in Vietnam, thought he found his world in there with his buddies, but then things went south, got back to the US, and as you could see, he became involved with something quite unsavory. So we're gonna have this tutorial and we'll learn all about the activity a bit more. So there we are, we need to find the keys.
Lincoln, pick up the keys.
You could see he was burning something in here.
Lincoln, pick up the keys.
He told us where the keys were, but I was busy with other things in here, so I missed out on the exact position.
Keys in the other room. Grab them so we can get the hell out of here.
Okay, the keys are in this other room, so okay, so that's not it, it's the other room that I've gone to there. See? Oh, that's a gun. It's not a
Hey man, grab those keys.
Okay, holds the weapon.
Still not sure about leaving him like this.
He came through with the truck just like we asked. Even greased his partner to make it look good. If you got doubts, why take the chance? Lincoln, pick up the keys.
Okay, the keys up here. What's this? Oh, we don't want to take him anywhere. Come on. Okay. There isn't anything in there, I don't think.
All right then, that's that. Goddamn.
Well, this is rather hang on a minute. That's not it. We want to restart. The reason for that is I used the control wrongly and I didn't really want that to be the case. I didn't want that person to die. So I apologize, and we'll need to restart just to make sure that we play the game in the way as we should. As you can see, it takes place in a fictionalized version of the American South. The developer sought to create an authentic and immersive experience that captures this very turbulent time and place, including depictions of racism. We find that racist beliefs, language and behaviors of some of the characters in the game are abhorrent, but believe it is vital to include these depictions in order to tell Lincoln Clay's story. And we felt that not to include this very real and shameful part of our past would have been offensive to very many citizens of our country. We'll watch the story again and then we'll play it accordingly. there we are. I've replayed it because there was a problem with my stream
man,
as
grab those
well. I
keys.
could see it was very choppy. There was some difficulties, so I replayed the whole thing for everyone to see. It's very important for everyone to see the introduction, because you really get introduced to the beauty of the game and what this game altogether is about. I also want to tell you that 2K is one of my favorite ever developers. I played lots of their games
So we can get the hell out of here.
the 1990s, and two of my favorites from that period, Black Dahlia and The Ripper, are from that era and also done by the same company. So, you know, anyone who is an avid archaeologist, you can dig them up on YouTube. You'll see what these games were like, but they're very similar to this one. And there's a lot of story, there's a lot of RPG content, and, you know, there's plenty for all of us to enjoy at any given moment in time. At the time, their games were probably the biggest released for a PC gaming world, and I still really treasure them
Still
tremendously.
not sure about leaving him like this.
He came through with the truck just like we asked. Even greased his partner to make it look good. If you got doubts, why take the chance?
Okay, so I think we'll leave them in here. We're not going to do anything about it. He might be a witness, but
We should get going.
we
You
don't
got the
really know
keys, so
that
you can
yet.
drive.
Come on, let's get the hell out of here.
Okay. Someone needs to get out of here.
Let's go, man. The clock's ticking.
Clock's ticking. So we need to drive to the Federal Reserve.
Take it easy heading to town. We don't need the cops crawling up our asses. Ah, that poor fuck back there. He ain't got no idea what he's in for.
What was his cut? 5%?
Thereabouts, but not like he'll be able to spend it. Feds will be watching his every move for the rest of his life. Probably be better we just whacked him.
If I learned anything in Nam, always a good idea to dangle someone out there. Use them to get everybody's attention, and you just slip away.
So answer me this. What's the craziest
Where
thing
am I
you
to
saw
go
today?
now?
You don't want to know.
Hell, man, I'm a taxpayer. I got the right to know how my money's being spent.
Oh, Georgie Marcano pays taxes.
Damn right I do. That's how they got Al Capone, and I ain't going to prison for no fucking tax bill. Huh. So come on, you gonna answer the question or what?
We on the coast of Quang Nai, evacuating the civvies for Charlie overran everything. Anyway, we getting him onto a medical ship, and this woman walks up. She got a baby in one hand and the leash to a pig in the other. She starts up the ramp, and the MP stops her and tells her, you can only bring one thing on board. So she tosses the baby into the water. MP goes ape, tells someone dive in after the kid, starts screaming at the woman, wants to know what the fuck she's thinking. You know what she says to him? She says, I can always have another baby.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey man, you asked.
Yeah, but I thought you gonna tell me a story about some gook getting his dick blown off or something. I mean, god damn.
It's not a fault. But not like you think. Conditions over there, man. Jesus Christ. One day you're raising cattle, tending your rice. Next day everything bombed flat. You put people up against the wall, they will do anything to survive.
That better been one delicious fucking pig.
So you could see it's beautifully recreated, the city. Just bear with me a second. What I want to do is I want to reduce the loudness, because audio. Okay. Okay, so it's better now. You'll be able to hear me, I think, as you should. Some games are like incredibly loud, and it's always the best if it's adjusted for Twitch streams. As you could see, the atmosphere of the game is really very much ingrained in that period. It's like a proper period piece. Okay, so we don't want to cause any trouble. We don't want to. This chap in there is not respecting the traffic regulations, as you could see. Okay. Go to this side. Otherwise, we can be pulled up by the police, and then guess what? It's going to be bang bang. That is what we do not want to have. It's really cool to drive in here. You've got everything. As if you were in that truck. And I'm curious whether I just killed it with my adjustments. Hopefully not. No, that's alright. You don't see such cars anymore. Well, mind you do see them in sometimes various fairs, but not on our roads. Pontiacs and Buicks. Okay, we're coming close to our destination. No witnesses so far, it says there. Okay. So it's cool that you can kind of look around a bit, enjoy the environment like this. The other guys are not traffic. This is like the screenshot of those chaps. Oh, what's happening there? See anyone in? Might have been my. Located in the heart of downtown. Still hard to go further up, I think.
Guards at the reserve probably won't be too keen on you waltzing around with that piece of yours.
I'll just leave it under the seat.
Those pedestrians in there, terrible. Yes. Incredibly well designed. So we are literally next door.
Forged IDs are worth a fuck.
When I say something hot, that's when we...
All right.
Here we go.
Put your IDs up to the glass.
We're part of the Boeing crew. What the fuck's this shitheel doing here? Affirmative action. You know how it is. Old country is spinning around the goddamn toilet. You can follow me. As for you, go on and grab those bags off the truck. You'll be carrying them to the burn room. How much y'all bring in? $238,546. Small bills mostly. I'll let Miss Gale call up to your office when we're done. She'll confirm the delivery. Appreciate it. We're not going anywhere till you grab that money, son.
Looks like the dialogue is a bit too low, so we'll increase the dialogue somewhat. Okay, so our next destination is where?
Bonjour.
Okay. I've got the money.
You need to check that scattergun. You packing anything?
Still in training.
Good. One less goddamn thing for me to worry about. You can pick it up on the way out. Buying rooms down in the cellar. This way. I ain't seen y'all around these parts before. Y'all's over in Georgia for a while. He just got out the service. My cousin's been trying to get on here for over a year now. Was in the Navy for 2 tours, got medals falling out of his ass. Government tells him thanks, but no thanks. That's a crock of shit if I ever heard one. Sad day when a God-fearing white man can't get a job, and a old nigga who staggers in is hired on the spot.
Okay, they open the door.
These bastards better not be playing with each other back there. Fuck you!
Christ, look at that. Didn't know y'all held that much gold.
Washington's been shuffling around on account of the war. It's here, and it gets sent to Dallas, and it comes back. It doesn't make a lick of goddamn sense. Here we are.
There we are indeed. Arrived.
Put those bags on the table there.
I thought I was gonna put them in that fire.
Never done this detail before. Figured it'd be bigger.
That gets the job done. Only time there's a problem is when the flue clogs up.
Fuck, that's some heat right there.
We used to use coal for it, but a year or so back we switched over to oil. Maintains a more consistent flame.
Here's some guy come around the house trying to switch me over to oil. Told him I wasn't interested. God, that guy was an asshole.
We need to move. Danny and Ellis should be coming up any time now.
Give me a second.
To hide him there.
You take care of those guards. Keep your ass down. You don't want them getting a drop on us.
I know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, 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 no. That's it.
You know that house we've been renting out? Called over there last night. Told them I wanted to sell it. Told them they needed to be out in 2 weeks. And the man, his name's John, starts laying into me, saying the lease gives them the right to a 30-day notice. That's how he's supposed to find a new place in 2 weeks. So I tell him none of that's my goddamn problem. It's my problem.
Huh?
Empty the vault.
Get this vault open.
Should have the keys ready. Come on. Bit of the weapon.
Lincoln, get over here, man.
Oh, I need to open the vault. Okay.
Let's go, man.
Move! Someone need a man who can shoot. He's coming for me! Got me stuck! Now! Reloading! Lined up, ready to fire! Pow, got him!
So what happened in there? Mission failed. But that's because I was rusty with my controls. That's the main reason. It does take a while to load, got to say, which is a bit annoying, considering we're literally at the beginning of the game.
Goddamn, we sure catch this time.
Only way we walk out, get the weapons stored, bust the door, watch our asses.
Small man gonna shit a brick when he hears about this. Fuck! Fuck! Come on, open!
Give me that damn thing.
Okay, pick this up. Bear with me, I just need to get myself a hot drink. I'll be back in a second. There we are, I'm back. And we'll carry on with our adventure. And I'm sure that everybody would agree, after watching our stream so far, that Mafia 3 is a wonderful, wonderful adventure game. Beautifully researched, so much attention given to detail, its historic accuracy, the build-up of characters and everything else. So let's carry on, let's see what is there before us.
Shit, man, these guys ain't fucking around.
Faced way worse than this over in Nam. Little smoke don't mean shit. Stay close to the vault, watch for the drill. I'll deal with these assholes.
Boy's a goddamn cop killer. Got him. Suspect on the move.
You looking to stir up trouble? Do your work. Go to church.
Alright, a bit more driving, but it looks fit. Okay, we've got some instructions here in order to use the map. Select mission on the map and then press X to view chapters and use L to scroll through available objectives. Okay, so we'll do that. Story chapters. Okay, so that's a taste of the action. Turns out things back home may not be as quiet as you expected. Activate objective. So that's activated. Very easy to use. It's a very, very good map, and you know, you open it, you use it. Go back to the map. As you could see, we activated the objective. We need to drive to that destination, so that's all nice and easy. And we'll get all of our pointers in there. Lots of NPCs in this game.
So Sammy's doing alright.
Ever since we got your telegram about coming home, he's been climbing the walls. What if the plane crashes? What if the train's delayed? What if they call him back? And he goes stand in front of the kitchen window and sip his whiskey like he was expecting you to come strolling up the sidewalk. Don't say nothing about me telling you that.
I won't.
He'll be fine once he sees you. Ever since Mama Hell, you know how he gets.
To your left.
Now you got me blushing. Okay.
Remember Marty and Ron Langford?
Sure.
They moved up to Empire Bay a year or so after you shipped out. Started selling weed. They call and ask me if I want some. I say sure. It's free money as far as I'm concerned. Anyhow, a month back, Marty drops me a line and says they're moving into heroin, that they're looking for a partner down around these parts.
Can't imagine Sammy was too keen on that.
I never told him about the weed. That ain't nothing to nobody. But this, I gotta talk to him about. I ain't said more than 3 words, and he's yelling about the feds. How we don't need J. Edgar up our asses, and what the fuck am I thinking? Selling dope with kids running around the neighborhood. We ain't selling no dope to no children.
Like they got any money to begin with. Fucking around aside, heroin's pretty serious shit. Knew a couple guys over in Nam who were running it. Wound up pissing off the wrong person. Got their throats cut.
Shit, man, I know what's what. That's why I'm talking to Georgie about it.
There's no way Sal's gonna go along with that.
Georgie says he can keep his old man from fighting out. We'll still clear the hollow in Frisco, just selling the French Wall. George's Uncle Lou won't say shit as long as we give him a taste of the action.
I don't know, man. George is a cool cat and all, but heroin ain't the kiddie pool.
Come in on it with us. I bet he'd agree to a 3-way split.
I don't know. I kinda need to lay low a bit, figure some things out.
Yeah, all right. Once you get settled in, I was thinking we can go to this new club in the French Ward. Maybe double date it.
But who the hell am I gonna go with? Your great Aunt Beatrice?
Oh, God. I ever tell you I accidentally saw her without a shirt once? That woman has the droopiest, nastiest tits I've ever seen. They were like 2 sacks of potatoes with nothing in them.
Yeah, like that was an accident.
Hey, man, fuck you. I was damn lucky to walk away from that one. Anyway, you'll go with Regine.
Regine?
Believe me, once you see her, you're gonna want to dig right in.
Matter of fact.
She got half the guys in the hollow sniffing around, asking her out. Turns them all down. She's only got eyes for you, Lincoln Clay.
Fuck you.
Wait and see, man. One look and your pecker's gonna pop right out.
There's a lot of driving in the game, so be prepared, similar to LA Noire. But the driving in here is more for you to be kind of introduced to the environment, you know, to watch for the landmark sites and for you to listen to some of the NPCs and that sort of thing. So it's beautifully designed. You really get the elements of that era, really, from the game, and I love it for that. And I just forgot about the signs. There were signs in there. But guess what? I was busy thinking about something else and I missed them. But I think still we've got to be going up. Or I should say further down this road. Oops. Alright, I'm driving reasonably well. No, I'm alright. This car's causing us trouble. Look at that. What sort of driving is this? Too bad, my friend. Too bad. Okay, going up that road, I think. Can accelerate somewhat. We don't want to be racing, because guess what? The police are gonna get us. There we are. So let me see. So that is up and then here.
Come on, we're going through the front. I ain't having your wall here or I ask use the back door.
Sammy's! Look at that. Get a move on. Oh yeah. There you go. Need to get another hot drink. Back in a second. Alright, let's go to the basement. This is his bed. Looks like a Playboy bunny in there. My god, what's going on? What's that Playboy bunny doing there? Picked it up. Collection. Oh, you collect Playboy month by month. Well, well, connoisseur of refined. It's actually cool because in here, when you look at it, you've got your map, you've got kill list, and then you have assets, journal, collection. Everything is in there. It's really cool. I think Mafia 3 did not receive the same recognition compared to, you know, GTA 5 and LA Noire and other games, but I always loved it. I thought it was 2K Interactive's masterpiece, and I'm just reminded of this today as we are revisiting. Really, really cool stuff. Because, you know, a bit like BioWare, they're really experts in storytelling, and you really have a feeling of a massive project and almost like a AAA blockbuster film with Denzel Washington in the lead, and you feel for those characters, you recognize those political realities, and it's really the best possible, really, for my liking. Oop, we've got another thing to collect. Vargas painting. Will you be familiar with pin-ups of Vargas? He's a very well-known graphic artist and very, very popular in the 60s, 70s. Iconic paintings of pin-up ladies. Playboy Vargas, look! You got this Vargas. Select. Wow, I didn't do that with my Playboy, so that's cool. And you can zoom in. This is cool. Zoom out. Toggle navigation. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a bit better. You can see what it looked like. But I'm curious about my Playboy. Hang on. Go back to Playboy. We want to select. August of 1964. There you go. Well, for all of you belonging to the younger generation of gamers, today you have access to all kinds of images of nudity on the internet, but in those days, in the 60s, you know, like the early 60s, this was something unheard of previously, like a mainstream magazine with the ladies being displayed with hardly any clothes on, and it does have a really great historic value. So you'll be also probably aware of the fact that the founding member, the founder of Playboy, Mr. Hugh Hefner, died recently, and he was quite old. He was in his 90s. Still lived in his well-known Playboy mansion, surrounded by many, many girls who were featuring in his magazine. So this game is definitely capturing the spirit of that era very, very well, and you know, like in any other RPG adventure game, I like to explore the area before I do anything else, and we'll have a look at everything here, and then we'll go to bed, you know, here in the game, of course. I don't think there might be another Vargas in here, but you never know, you know, it could be semi-hidden. Collectors and completionists always like looking for items everywhere, and I'm one of these guys. Booze. Peddlers. Well, sad to see that a young life, you know, almost wasted in a dreadful war, and then yet again facing another challenge after coming back. And that was the reality for many, many young men in the US during that period in the 60s. It's very tragic. Many documentaries are made about this, and in fact, one of the best, if you're interested, if you are watching, obviously if you're watching the broadcast and playing the game, is Ken Burns' Vietnam War. It's the best documentary made, or I should say one of the very best. Burns is a very well-known documentary filmmaker and regarded as a true father of that very ultra-realistic documentary, but very objective filmmaking style. One of the best documentaries in the world, really. And had the privilege of meeting him a few years back. He was participating in a forum at the BFI, and he was present there for a live interview, and we had the chance to ask questions and everything, and really absolutely incredible, both as a personality and as a filmmaker, most importantly as a human being. I really was extremely impressed with everything he had to say. He promoted one of his series, I can't actually recall whether it was Roosevelt's or Civil War, and we talked all about his career and the way he does his research. And when you watch that Vietnam War documentary, you really get into the meticulousness of all of his findings. You get the best possible contributors and participants, and the overall picture is always presenting you with various angles, which I have to say is not always the case with American documentary filmmaking, but that's really the highest possible quality. And there are men like this gentleman in the documentary, and if you watch it, you'll get tears sometimes in your eyes, because it's really absolutely distressing to see what people have gone through. Well, the question is why, when, and where, but there isn't just like one simple answer to that. There are many different factors involved in these kinds of historical realities, and it's incredibly tragic to see that so many lives were lost, and even more so distressing to see that after people suffered such unbelievable hardships out there in the field, after coming back they had been facing another lot of hardships, obviously significantly different ones, but equally painful for those who would have been regarded as war heroes in their own time whilst wearing uniform, and then facing all of those challenges once back home. And many of them didn't make it, I'm afraid, which is the collateral of any armed conflict. I think for anyone who wore uniform will tell you we suffer many casualties out there in the field, but once the war's over, equally as many are present in our local community. That's really cool. Sammy's day-night cycle, which is really good. You can see it there straight away. I woke up, I'm awake. Me and Alice, and that's what. Have a cracker and have a hot drink. Equally enthralled with how incredibly beautiful this really is. So glad that they're offering it free of charge this weekend. Really appreciate it, and thanks to 2K and Xbox and Microsoft and Xbox Games with Gold. I apologize, I'm just looking at some messages today. Just have a look. Alright, so let's carry on. But here and in the game. So I need to talk to Sammy and Ellis. I need to go up there. I've gone the wrong way. Picked up our Vargas. We picked up our Playboy. We've got both of those sorted. Alright. This is the way up.
If you go out there, what'll they have you doing?
Well, the month apprenticeship to start, then the union lets you in.
You tell Sammy and Ellis?
Not yet. Gonna wait a few days. Didn't want to spring it on them since I just got back.
Well, they won't like to hear it, but they'll come around. You need to do what's best for you. Go ahead and start serving those folks. I'll be back.
Give Sammy my best, Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
Warm meal, oh sure. Thanks.
Hello? You delivering a real blessing here, Lincoln. Thank you.
Blessings mine, ma'am. Couple of days back and they already got you working?
I'm happy to do it.
Means a hell of a lot to all of us.
Don't get old, son. It's a fucking shit show.
I'll see what I can do about that.
Hey there, Lincoln.
How are you, Regine?
I'm good. Nice to see you around the holler again.
Nice to see those big brown eyes again.
Well, they'll be over at my aunt's place with the rest of me. You should stop by.
Maybe I'll do that.
Lincoln, we got trouble.
Run, Regine!
Get away. Once we're done with you, Lincoln, Sammy's next.
I'm not sure what happened. I'm afraid, my friends, the game froze, so I'll have to be restarting the broadcast. So stay with us here on the channel, and I'll be back as soon as possible. What do I need to do? Let's see. So you could see it's just completely dead. It will not work, I'll have to restart, so I apologize for this. I'll restart the game and then we'll resume with the broadcast, so stay with us, I'll be back literally in 30 seconds.